10 years ago, on the night of October 31st, a small Midwestern town fell victim to an escaped killer. Under the cover of darkness, he carried out the most horrifying mass murder on record. 16 people in cold blood. Ever since that night, no one has forgotten his name. And Halloween has never been the same. Now, Michael Myers has come home. He has returned for one more night of unholy terror.
Michael! Somebody help me! He's here to kill that little girl and anybody who gets in his way.
Oh, God.
Who's gonna be next?
Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers.
Maybe nobody knows how to stop him.
All right, we are live, ladies and germs. Hey everybody, welcome to Saturday Movie Night. My name is Dave McRae. Now let me check with the chat. Is there an echo? There should not be an echo at all. I like to do that just to make sure that there is no echo when we're doing live feeds, because sometimes those things happen. Just give me a no, hopefully a no. There's no echo. Nope, no echo. Yes, 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 yes. Great. Okay. So welcome to Saturday Movie Night. This is our first episode. We're going to be watching Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Now, what Saturday Movie Night is, for those of you who are joining us after the broadcast, this is just a level 3 patron sort of exclusive in terms of it being live. And once the broadcast is done, the live feed is done, it goes right up onto my YouTube channel for everybody to enjoy. So, we'll see how this goes. And, things are constantly evolving on this channel. And, we'll see how this goes. But this is our first episode, and I posted on my Patreon 5 movies that level 3 patrons got to vote on, and they were Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Friday the 13th Part 4, A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Child's Play, and Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. And Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers overwhelmingly won. I think it was something like 74% or something to that effect, out of, I think, maybe, I don't know how many people voted, 35 maybe, 40, something like that. Anyway, overwhelmingly, you guys wanted me to watch Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, so that's what we're doing here tonight. So it's great to see everybody in the chat room rolling on in. This is good stuff. Yeah, great. Okay, so let's get this thing started, shall we? Now, if anybody is watching at home, I don't know if you guys are going to, but I'm going to hit play here. And, so you guys can line it up. I'm at the very beginning of the movie. So as soon as I hit play, it's going to be like a second or two, and you're going to see October, 30th, 1988, or something to that effect, come on the screen, and then you begin to hear that eerie soundscape from Alan Howarth, which is just amazing. So, okay, so let's get this rolling here. Let me move over here. Let's get this rolling. Okay, are you guys ready? Let's do this. And I am hitting play now. All right, October 30th, 1988 is on the screen. Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Mustafa Akkad presents. Man, fuck, this opening's fantastic. This has to be, I know it's cliche, but this has got to be, if not the best, one of the best openings of the entire series. It's moody, but it's not just the visuals. It's look at that fog right there. Very subtle, that fog going by. That skeleton on the outside of that little abandoned kind of shack. It's just so great. And you hear things like you know, and the ghost kind of swaying in the wind. There's that, what did I say that Michael Myers was, right? He was that storm that's coming, that impending doom from a distance. This illustrates that perfectly. He's coming. He's coming. Things are calm, cool, and collected right now, but you look off, you know, onto the horizon and you start to see those clouds moving in. You know, the wind's starting to pick up. Things are starting to blow. He's back. You know what I mean? I love this shit. And the soundscape is fucking amazing. Oh, man. Halloween theme by John Carpenter. Yeah. So now we have the ambulance coming towards the camera. I always love this shot, too. The rain. Thunder, executive producer Mustafa Akkad. Yeah, it's good shit. Go over to the chat here. What's going on? Ba, 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 ba. I love this opening. Oh yeah, Tabitha, it's great. It's great. This opening is fantastic. Absolutely. One of the best of the series. I mean, hands down. Very different from what you got in the original first two films. But that's what you want, because he's been away for a long time and it's been 10 years and, you know, things seemingly are back to normal. Or are they? You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty cool. Great music. Alan Howarth don't get me wrong, Carpenter's score is great, but he was able to, I mean, it suited its time too. I mean, the 80s was very synth, you know, and Alan Howarth was great for that. He did a great job. I love this creepy guard. Look at the way he's like. It's the way he looks. He's like. It's creepy. And this, of course, is where we have some exposition about how this essentially gets you caught up. This is the exposition. Here comes that scream. And the doctors are like, what the fuck was that? God ain't got nothing to do with this place. I think that's what he said there, right? God ain't got nothing to do with this place or something. Love this guy. But it's great. Like, you feel that anticipation, which is just awesome. Darren Sands is in the room. The first Halloween sequel without Universal, correct? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Rory Moore, the opening and Halloween 5's opening definitely. Oh yeah, despite the fact that I think Halloween 5 is a fucking shit show, the opening of Halloween 5 is fantastic. Yeah, so we're in the elevator right now. They're going up or down. I guess they're coming up or whatever. And he just went through this real sort of tight-knit exposition, kind of like, yeah, so here's what's happened. Here's, you know, in case you forgot, now we're all caught up. It actually worked. It actually worked. Love this shot too. We're coming along the bars there and we see him lying unconscious, all wrapped up. It's good stuff. Lighting's great. Notice how we have that sort of that blue light there in the background. It's nice, but it's not overbearing. Oh yeah, this is great. This is when his hand kind of falls out from the bed. Okay, Tabitha McCauley says, Dave, do you have your audio on? I do have my audio on, yes. I can hear it very subtly, but I don't want to bring it up too loud because obviously I don't want a copyright strike to... my channel's not monetized anyway, but I certainly don't want them to have the video removed because I want it to go up afterwards. So I'm just trying to cover all my bases. It's better to be safe than sorry, right? I could probably have it up a little bit louder, but just want to be safe. David Ferguson, they picked the wrong time of year to transfer Michael. Yes, yeah, really, eh? That's true. Transferring him the night before Halloween. All right, let's move him. Got the thunder going. Yeah, it's great stuff. Like, up to this point, there's nothing wrong with this movie. So far. It's okay. I mean, it's all right. Ba 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 ba. We got going on here. Kieran Pritchard. I didn't have time to sync up with Dave, so I'll just listen. Oh, well, Kieran, I'm right now. The ambulance is pulling away from Smith's Grove. Okay, Michael is in the back, so we're getting to the scene now where they're in the ambulance and he's in the back, and then, yeah, that's where I am right now. Ambulance is driving along the road, coming towards the camera. That actually might be the exact same shot they used at the beginning of the movie. It looked like it. So now we're in the back, and he's unconscious, and they're taking notes. His fist is going like this. That's where we are, just if you want to sync it up. Scrolling back. All right. Oh! This shit was shot after. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but wasn't this shot afterwards? Yeah, the thumb into the forehead. That was shit. This is a beautiful shot. The blue light and the back of Danielle Harris. It's beautiful. It's beautifully lit. It's great. There are some creative choices in terms of lighting in this movie that are really nice, and that was a nice shot. Yeah, this is really pretty. I haven't watched this movie in a while, so you'll have to excuse me when I bitch and complain about things I don't like and give thumbs up to things I do. It's been a while since I've watched this. But yeah, that thumb in the forehead, I think that was shit they added like later in retakes because it wasn't gory enough or something, or it wasn't. They needed some more shit. Why would he still be in bandages 10 years later? It's a good point. Maybe it's a good point. Maybe they just maybe it's just a very slow healing process. He heals very slowly in terms of his skin. We'll go with that for now. Rory Moore says, definitely horseshit how fast they kill off Rachel in Halloween 5. Oh yeah. Halloween, Rachel, the relationship between Rachel and Jamie was built and established starting with these scenes that we're hearing here or that we're watching here. And it's so important that that's carried over into Halloween 5 because that's your heart now. Your heart's not just Danielle playing Jamie, it's the relationship between them both. They both went through shit. They both went through hell in this movie, and that should have carried over. To kill Rachel in Halloween 5 at all, I don't care when you kill her. Well, I guess you could have killed her maybe towards the end of the third act in some big climactic moment that sealed the fate of the series, perhaps, okay, but to kill her in what was it? The end of the first act or beginning of the second? It was it was awful. It was a horrible creative decision because nobody cares about Tina and nobody and Danielle. She's strong and she's a good little actress in this movie, but you needed someone else to counterbalance that. And Loomis was just too fucking out to lunch in the movie. The way he wrote the way they wrote his character was ridiculous. Anyway, we're talking about Halloween 5 here. This is funny. I always found it funny that she pulls out a photo of her mother, but it's a photo of her mother sitting on the stoop in Halloween 4 when nobody was there taking a photograph of that. It's kind of interesting. Although I guess this could be perceived as sort of a dream. Kind of a dream. It's interesting. You know, I want to say something, guys. I'm telling you, I don't like the mask in this movie. I've never liked the mask in this movie. I never have. But it's grown on me over the years. Not to the point where I say it's a good mask. It's not a good mask. Don't misinterpret me. But I guess I sometimes justify it and feel that in its own right, it's creepy. If there was no Halloween 1 or 2, and this was just the mask, we were just watching some movie called, I don't know, Creepy Girl, or or The Boogeyman. I don't know, something complete. There's no Halloween whatsoever, and this was the mask. It's kind of creepy. It's eerie, on its own. It's crap when you compare it to what came before it. But I kind of think to myself, well, it's 10 years later. What are the odds of him going into a store and actually picking up if we want to believe that it was at random, he goes into a store 10 years later and picks up the exact same mask. It's probably, the probability is quite low of that. but you would think that he would go after something similar, which he does. So I got sort of, I don't know, over the years I've developed this love-hate relationship. I'm not going to say love-hate, like-hate relationship with The Mask. Because it is creepy on its own. Yeah, it's interesting. I love how that slow motion when the mother comes out of her bedroom. I love that creative choice to make that slow motion. That was awesome. Love that. Love that. There's a lot to love in this movie, guys. But I do have some issues with it. Let me scroll back here. Darren S. says, I have the movie on. Long day at work. Midnight here. Enjoying this with a tall rum and coke. Nice. Nice, Darren. Nice. Yeah, I was going to bust out something like that, but I thought, that is fucking, you better fuck. You know what? Gotta say, Halloween 4 is one of the best Halloween films, period, to convey the fall atmosphere, the fall mood, the fall vibe, the fall atmosphere. That's nothing new. You've heard that from other people, but they're right. It really does feel like fall. They did a really great job on illustrating that with the leaves, nice establishing shots, lingering on some of the establishing shots, which is important. How long you linger on a shot and how quickly you move away from a shot will definitely convey two different feelings and messages. So the mother now has just gotten off the phone and is turning to Rachel. Rachel, we need you to babysit. I got a date with Brady tonight, bitch. That's what I wanted her to say. Mom, you are a bitch. I got a date with a serial cheater. Okay. She's making a bagel. Makes me hungry. Okay. Kieran Pritchard. Okay, I'm not with you word for word, but close enough. Hope you're okay, Dave. Nice to catch you. No problem. Yeah, we're in the kitchen now. Jamie Lloyd's just found out that her sister Rachel, or her adoptive sister Rachel, is not crazy on babysitting her. And she's like, fuck, oh, damn, that's where I am right now.
Jamie?
Oh, look at the dog. So cute. Looks like a retriever.
I'm sorry.
Could be a golden lab, but I think it's a retriever. The big apple. The big ape, for once you're live and I'm not at school. Hey, the big ape, for once I'm live and I'm not at school. And I'm not at school. I haven't been in school in years. And you're not at school. Good stuff. Okay. Tabitha McCauley says they didn't have to rake up the leaves from every scene to reuse. That's true. That's true. Yep. Good call. The mask is too white. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's so many things that you could... It's not a good mask. It's not. And it's only not a good mask because we are comparing it to what came before. And that's fair because there are two movies that came before, right? So, but I've learned to sort of justify it in my own mind of, Anyway, here's Dr. Loomis. Love this shit. Maybe I can turn this up just a little bit. You let him take it out of here? What? He's already half in the bag here.
Michael Myers was a federal patient and a federal prisoner, therefore he is subject to federal law.
We're not talking about any ordinary prisoner, Hoffman. We are talking about evil on two legs.
It's too bad they couldn't get, or maybe they tried, and he didn't want to do it. I would have loved, nothing against Sheriff Meeker, but I would have loved to have seen Brackett back in this movie. That's one of the things that I was like, it's too bad they didn't get Brackett back. Would have been nice to see their relationship evolve. Loomis and Brackett. I would have loved to have seen their relationship evolve. That would have been really cool. Because Brackett didn't really seem old enough to retire. I know that's the excuse they use, but he didn't seem old enough to retire.
Yeah,
John Bruce is in the house. Where is the original mask today? Anyone? Oh, somebody has it. Maybe somebody can pipe in. But somebody does have the mask in a like airtight sealed vault or something like that. Dr. Loomis pulling in. The ambulance is in a ravine.
Is that it?
Yes. When did this happen?
Sometime in the night. They probably lost the road in the storm and came down the embankment. It happened.
Good stuff. Good stuff. David Ferguson says, I always wondered how Dr. Loomis survived the explosion in H2. Yeah, I don't know. I think, wasn't there a deleted scene or something they wrote that they didn't shoot? They were actually going to shoot something for the beginning of this movie. I think, did I dream this? Where you were actually going to see the ending of Halloween 2, and you were going to see the explosion and Donald Pleasence, not actually Donald Pleasence, but his character come flying out of the explosion, which would illustrate that he actually survived the explosion. Am I crazy on that? Or was that, I think that was that was either a deleted scene or something they had written but decided not to bother to shoot. Love how you see the blood on the ambulance here. Really like that. That's a nice touch. And the fact that the ambulance is upside down in the water, I think was a good, look at all that blood. That's great. Now, of course, that could be blood from the accident as well, not just as the result of Myers, but still good stuff. I like that. John Bruce, you're right, Dave. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I think I thought they were going to do that.
You're talking about him as if he were a human being. That part of him died years ago.
You're talking about him as if he were a human being. That part of him died years ago.
If you don't find him in 4 hours, I'm sure I will.
It's so good. It's so great. He's such a great character. Samantha Vestal. I love this movie. Yeah, Samantha. Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of people consider it to be the best Halloween sequel. Well, some love it. It's their second favorite. Some, it's their first favorite because it was the first one they saw. And some think it's the best sequel since Halloween, or it goes, like 1, 2, 4. And I agree with that. I agree. It is my second favorite Halloween sequel. I do have issues with it, but it's definitely my second favorite. Because I've always said this. We're at, by the way, for those of you who are following, we're at the gas station now. Pennies. I think it's Pennies, right? I think it was a decent return. It wasn't as good as the original, and it wasn't, I don't think it was as good as the second one, but it's a very late 80s horror movie. I think that they could have, I don't know, some of the suspense could have been, there's certain things they could have utilized with Myers a bit more, in terms of, yeah. Sorry, I'm watching because it's been so long since I've seen this movie. Things are starting to come back to me. But it's definitely a decent return. It's 5 where they fucked it up. They fucked it up in 5. Because 6 is the exact byproduct of 5. They made 6 the way they did because of what happened in 5. So 5 is the catalyst. Oh, our first victim. Oh, yeah. Love that he's got a limp now. Anybody here? Slack! Anybody got any gin? Yes, she did. Darren asked JLC turned the movie down. Yes, she did. That's correct. It's creepy. I love seeing the aftermath of kills and not necessarily the kill in and of itself. There's a very creepy, haunting feeling you get, and it works very well with the character of Michael Myers. There's something about this shot I never really liked, and I don't know if it's that... I don't know if that's George P. Wilbur or if that's, what's his face? The other guy that played him briefly in this movie. You guys will probably be able to bring it up for me. I don't think it is Wilbur. There's something about the way he's standing there I don't like. Overall, I wasn't crazy. Tom Morga, thank you. I'm not sure if that's Tom Morga. It might be, or if we've moved to Wilbur yet. But there's something about I just wasn't crazy on. And I don't like the fact that they cut to just a shot of the cupboards. It just seems like an insert shot they put in because they realized, fuck, we forgot to shoot something else. It's the middle shot so they could cut to the other shot to show him suddenly not there. But it always felt jarring to me. I think they could have done something better. Just suddenly there's this close-up of these cupboards and it feels weird. But that's me. Yes, fire. Look at Loomis leaping! Loomis is leaping! He's leaping to save his life! Something tells me that wasn't Donald Pleasence. But you never know! You never know! The mayhem! The mayhem! Everything's on fire! He's gone again, that fucker! Love this. Love seeing the kids dressed up in their Halloween costumes. Love the parallel here about the kids making fun of, you know, how Jamie's uncle's the boogeyman. And, I mean, yeah, there's a parallel to, of course, the first movie when Tommy was getting picked on by Lonnie and his little friends there. So it's nice. I mean, it's a nice parallel and a nice throwback. The Big Ape says they filmed scenes with Tom Morga falling, but producers hated it. Tom Morga falling, but producers hated it? What scene was that? Rich Moore is in the house. Welcome, Rich. Tabitha says, did Donald Pleasence do his own stunts? I doubt it. He was already well into his late 60s here, if not maybe mid to late 60s. I doubt it. I doubt that was him leaping into the thing. Now, I know there are people that say that this character driving the car is supposed to be Lindsay Wallace from the first movie. Her name is Lindsay, and some people think that this is Lindsay Wallace. And I don't know if that's just because her name is Lindsay and that's what and that's what people are getting it from, or correct me if I'm wrong, was there an interview with somebody where they said, the writer perhaps, yes, this is supposed to be Lindsay Wallace, because she's not credited as Lindsay Wallace. She's credited as Lindsay. And I'll be honest with you, I've never watched this movie thinking it's the same Lindsay, and in my mind, it's not the same. I've never... Never. Because it's not the same actress. In the original script, she had more scenes. Well, there's nothing in the narrative. I think my issue is there's nothing in the narrative that leads us to believe it's that Lindsay. So you could say, well, originally, in the original script, she had more scenes and it was going to be revealed that she was Lindsay Wallace because maybe there was the scene where she was talking to Jamie saying, I remember when I was your age, da-da-da-da-dee. Great. Then if that was in the movie, fine. But it's not. And nowhere do they ever allude to that. That's it. Nowhere do they ever allude to her being the same person. So, to me, she's not. She's not. She's not the same person. Because it never made it into the script.
All right, $10. Let's see it.
And there's nothing about the narrative. There's no exposition that would lead you to believe that it is. Nothing. I mean, nobody knew that watching it. And unless you weren't aware of the information that you just told me, if that's true, there was probably something to that effect, then yeah, I don't ever think of her as that person because there was nothing that ever said it was. Maybe there was in a draft somewhere, or maybe they were going to, but it never made it into the final cut. You know, it's not like Rachel said, "Hey, you remember my friend Lindsay Wallace, don't you?" I mean, okay, well, but she didn't say that. Vincent Drugs. Yeah, fuck off, Wade. Here we are. Fuck off, Wade. Just come and, like, do me later. That's how she says it, too. She's like, fuck off, Wade. Look at this guy, Wade.
In a second.
You can tell he's a guy who loves his hair. He loves his hair, ladies and gentlemen. He loves his fucking hair. He loves his hair. You can see the mask behind her there. I always like that shot and how they never really drew your attention to it specifically, but how it was just kind of in the back. God damn you, Michael. Yeah. God damn you, Michael. Bloody hell. She picks out the clown costume, which of course is a nice parallel and throwback to the original. Yeah, it was all right. Oh, Rachel and... Fuck off, Wade. Making out. Rachel was a goody two-shoes. Rachel wouldn't put out. That was the problem. Wade was ready. He was ready. He was ready. He was ready to go. And Rachel just wouldn't put out. That's essentially the whole dynamic that's happening here. Oh, and she looks over and she's like, I put out, baby. I put out.
Parents are gonna come home early tonight.
I fucking put out.
I don't know, Brady.
Of course, wait. Of course, no. That's not... I got the wrong guy. That's not Wade. That's not Wade, is it? No, Wade's the blonde guy. Wade's the blonde guy. That's... what the fuck's this guy's name? I always forget his name. Brady, that's it. Brady, yeah. I'm getting them mixed up. Of course, I'm sure she'd do everybody. I never really liked this. I get that it's trying to show that it's Michael age 6 and, you know, the parallel, but it doesn't look like the same kid, and I just never really liked it. As a kid, I was like, that's not the same kid. Like, you could have gotten, you know, it's just not the same kid. And obviously, it's not the same kid, but even just, yeah, I never liked it.
At least you're not cut. Come on, let's go home.
Yeah, there's something about this scene. I don't know if I actually think that was Tom Morgan in that scene there, too. Brady, yeah, Darren says Brady, yeah, it is. Yeah, I got them mixed up. It's been a while since I've seen this movie, folks. Seeing this movie in its entirety, like I'm watching right now, it's probably been a long time. Number of years. I so wish he would have gotten in this car with these cheerleaders and this guy. Can you imagine the drive with Loomis and these cheerleaders and this guy? What are you doing, old man? I'm going to Haddonfield. Oh, aren't you a pretty little thing? Of course, that would have been a whole different movie then, but... Tom did the opening scenes, drugstore scenes, and shotgun scene. Oh, right. The... Right. Yep. Darren Sands, Dave, quit the British accent. I need more rum to cope with this. It's my drunk Donald Pleasence. I always seem to go there when I do Donald Pleasence. He's not drunk. Well, It looks like he's about to get drunk with this guy, but it's not like he is drunk. Of course, in Halloween 5, it's like, what the hell? He might as well have been. I am convinced that in Halloween 5, Donald Pleasence is fucking 3 sheets to the wind, as they say, or whatever the hell it is.
Apocalypse, end of the world, Armageddon. It's always got a face and a name. I've been hunting the bastard
Johnny Walker Blue for me tonight. Good job, John Bruce. Tabitha says I'm drinking Bell's Two-Hearted. I'm glad everybody is enjoying themselves tonight.
I know that, Mr. Sayers.
He was a bit of an old soak, so you could be right. It was just his character in Halloween 5. He was all, you know what you're buying. It was unbelievable. It was like, holy shit. Holy shit. Calm down, Loomis. Calm down. I like this scene, though, with Loomis and the old guy in the truck. I do like it. Although if you notice, one of the things I don't like is how Donald Pleasence's scar keeps changing. They couldn't figure out how to get it quite right, and it sort of keeps changing. Notice the bluish hue, how the street lights are still very yellow, but there's a bluish sort of twilight kind of look to everything. And I really like that. I really like that. That's solid. But the lights are still yellow, because they would be. The lights would be yellow and they would cast a, warmer sort of glow, but there's that bluish twilight sort of feel that you get around that time. So really, really nice. The lighting in this movie is a strength in certain moments, for sure. Like this shot here, POV, up the stairs as the parents are leaving, feels very fall. Yes, it's a POV shot, and that's very reminiscent of Michael Myers, which I like. But again, there's a very strong fall atmosphere to this film, which is good. Yeah, that's right. The Play-Doh on Donald's face was never consistent. No, it wasn't. It was not consistent. Sometimes it looked like a fried egg. The houses were too high in 4 and 5. The houses were too... Oh, you mean the actual homes themselves were too high? You mean off the foundation?
Come on, Jamie, you're gonna miss
I think that's what you mean, Darren. Yes. Yeah, it could have been another part of town, though. I mean, certainly the homes in the original were more lower to the ground. I always looked at it that this is perhaps another part of town. In some old towns, you have some neighborhoods where they have a lot of the wartime homes, and then you could go down the street and there's more of a bigger sort of, Victorian kind of look down one street. And it never really, I get what you're saying, but it didn't bother me. I don't think that's really an issue for me anyway. Yeah, the scene where he goes, okay, yeah, so I love this. This always bothered me. He picks up, that picture's okay. But then he picks up this one. Does he pick it up? No, he doesn't. Okay, you just kind of see it. But you notice the one with Laurie sitting with the pumpkin on the stoop from Halloween 1. Like, who the hell was there taking her picture? Did Annie get out of the car, which we didn't see, and take her picture? Just comes off as sort of like a screenshot. It reminds me in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Harrison Ford has a picture of his dad, right? Henry Jones Sr. on his desk. But it looks like a headshot of Sean Connery it looks like a screen capture from The Last Crusade. Like, it's kind of funny that way. And those things always bother me in movies. I'm like, guys, come on. Like, what do you, like, why are you... Oh, this is great. This is one of my favorite scenes. This is great.
He's here in Haddonfield.
I'm telling you, he's in this town.
He's here, Sheriff.
Yeah.
10 years ago, he tried to kill Laurie.
There's no music.
No,
Donald Pleasence is doing what he does best. The police are listening. They're skeptical, but they're listening.
wherever she is, that little child is in mortal danger.
She's been locked up since before she was born.
It's a great scene. It's a great scene.
Bodies, Sheriff, that's what I've seen between here and Richmond. to kill that little girl and anybody who gets in his way.
Great line. Loomis, love it. 6-bolted South. I'm telling you. It's great. I love it. I love it. Loomis.
Find this little girl, get her someplace safe.
And the actor, I forget the guy's name now, but who plays Sheriff Meeker is solid. I actually like Sheriff Meeker a lot. I thought he was a bust in Halloween 5 as well. He was underutilized and useless in Halloween 5, but he was great in this movie. But I have to admit, I would have preferred maybe to see Brackett, to see the look on Brackett's eyes, because Michael Myers killed his daughter, right? So it would have been great to see that relationship between Loomis and Brackett taken to the next level. That would have been a really awesome reunion. But it is what it is, right? Da-da-da-da. Rory Moore says, Dave is like, everyone shut the fuck up. This is my favorite scene. Yeah. It's one of my favorite scenes in this movie for sure. Rich Moore, finally back home and putting this on the big screen. Nice. Pop it up. Scrolling back here to see... You guys are talking amongst yourself, which is always good. Michael Martinez. Hey, Dave. FYI, I'm going to Yankees versus Toronto Blue Jays tomorrow at 1 p.m. in the Bronx. Cool stuff. The Jays got their asses handed to them yesterday, I think. 11-0 or something like that. The Jays are just... Well, the Jays are in a rebuild, right? So, what are you going to do? Oh, yeah. Here's the scene where cops do it by the book. Love that shit. Brady's there. Can you imagine? Oh, fuck. Even if you were a dude. If you were a dude or a girl, it doesn't matter. You're like, what the fuck are you doing? Your heart sinks. You're like, fuck. Rachel. Brady. Come on, Brady. Love the blue light. It's nice. Might be a little overdone in certain spots, but it's yeah, but it's nice. It's nice. It feels cold. It feels like a chilly autumn night, you know, and I like that. Oh, what does he say? No, I want to. It's just, you know. Brady, are you coming inside or what? Look at the way she's standing, too. He's like, oh, well, if I'm going to get some, yeah. He's the epitome of a guy you don't want to be dating. And of course, that was nice. I mean, to have her stop briefly and talk to Brady, which causes the separation between Rachel and Jamie was good. Because sometimes in movies when they're trying to think of ways to, you know, do certain things, it doesn't always feel organic. That felt organic. I mean, kids can take off like that, and you're caught up in the emotion. Like, you're not just talking to your boyfriend. If you were talking to your boyfriend, you might be more aware of where Jamie is, because there's nothing really emotional about the situation. But she's caught up emotionally in the situation because of what's going on, that the last thing, ironically, she's thinking about is somebody who she should be thinking about first. So it played out very nice to cause that separation, because obviously it's like, how do we get them separated, right? Yeah, these guys. Takes a swig. Well, let's go. Come on, everybody. Get in your fucking truck and let's go get right Michael Myers. Come on, Earl. My dad's name was Earl. My dad passed in 2011, but my dad's name was Earl, and my dad always used to make fun of himself because he was like, God, whenever there's Earl in any movie or TV show, it's always some, my name's Earl. And it's like, it's true. It's true. I find Dave is becoming like that now. There's a lot of Daves now that are like, you know, hi, my name's Dave. And it's like, oh, God, you know, Dave's becoming an old name now. Roadhouse. Brady's rocking a Swayze Roadhouse. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Wouldn't it have been great in this movie if Brady, when he's about to shoot the shotgun at Myers. He takes off his shirt. He's like, whoa! That would have been great. I would have loved it.
Something?
He's been here.
How do you know?
This time they actually show the dog. But they don't show anything serious. They just show a...
Starting to spook me, Doc.
Please, I'm not alone.
Yeah, so... Yeah. There's a line here, too, that I love that Sheriff Meeker says, but I don't know when it's coming.
No problem, sir.
It's coming soon. Oh, here he is! Everybody's favorite! What's this guy's name? Bucky? Buckley? Bucky. Here he is. Look at the way he puts the gum in his mouth. I always love that. He's like,
Hey, you. This city property. No trespassing.
hey, what you doing over there, man?
Don't try that Halloween shit with me.
I mean, you know, in its own right, it could be perceived as a creepy mask. In its own right, standing alone.
Don't you even think.
But, I mean, it's not a Michael Myers mask. I mean, it is, but it's not. It is, but it's not. I love the way he just picks him up here. Grabs him by the... I think he should have grabbed him by the crotch. Ooh. I love that cut, too. There was a cut there when Bucky is on the thing. There's a jump cut, but it works well. I don't know if that was a deliberate choice, a creative choice to make it seem like he's moving around really quickly, but there was a jump cut. Showing now, of course, a lot of that. And this is great, too, because here's your excuse for a lot of the power having, you know, going out. Now, why Michael Myers is... Well, I guess maybe he's smart enough to know that, well, I guess I got to go to over here where the power is because I want to knock out the power. So he goes over there and he picks up a guy and throws it. I guess. It worked. I mean, you know, okay, I buy it. You know, I'm trying not to think too hard about this. This is, after all, a horror movie and, you know. I always thought that this scene here, this faraway shot of Rachel coming around the corner, it looks like a backlot. It looks like a backlot. I don't believe it is. I believe it's a street in, where they shoot this, Salt Lake City, or close to it. I don't think but it just, the way it looks, the way it's lit, it looks like the backlot of Universal or something like that. Like, it's funny. It's got that sort of backlot vibe to it. But it's creepy. Now, did you notice when she turned her head over there, something did move? You know, was it a leaf? Was it Michael Myers? I like that. Notice the look of the environment here, too. It's got some nice mood. It's got some nice mood. Very moody, very fall, very autumn. I think that's why a lot of people like this movie. It's not the best Halloween film, but the mood, I don't know if I want to say it's dripping in atmosphere, but there's a lot of atmosphere. And that's certainly one of the things that the filmmakers, when they made this movie, were very conscious of, is that we want this to look and feel like autumn, like fall. And they did a good job. I mean, you have to give credit where credit is due, and they did a really good job. John Bruce says, I'm going to have to bail on you guys. GGG versus... Oh, okay. See you, John. Take care, buddy. The Big Ape says Bucky was the name of the prop designer on H4. Yeah, that's right. I heard something like that. I heard it was somebody involved in the production. Darren Sand says, mask aside, it's certainly George Wilbur's best Michael performance. In H6, he looked like he'd been on. I agree. Yes, I agree with that. George P. Wilbur in Halloween 6 looked like he had been packing too many pies. I totally agree. Been eating too many Doritos, not pumping the iron enough. You know, yeah, totally agree. Yeah, whatever they were feeding him in that cult, he had that and then some. What I love about this is that they're spending a lot of time in the neighborhood, and you're getting a lot of, there's a very sort of, I'm feeling the neighborhood. I'm feeling the coldness. I'm feeling the loneliness. I'm feeling that, you know, the power is out and the kids. It's well done. I haven't seen this movie in a long time, and I'm quite enjoying watching this. I mean, I recognize certain things that I don't.
Don't ever go off
Yeah.
night again, okay? Not ever.
I wish they would have shot it in anamorphic. They didn't shoot this movie in anamorphic, and I wish they would have done that to coincide with the original. That's one of the gripes I have. But it's still, I mean, you know, it is what it is. I mean, this scene always sort of, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, the Michaels that are a lot of guys pretending to be Michael.
Is that him? Yes.
I think wasn't this, there was more to this scene. Wasn't there something else in the script? Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there something else in the script where there was supposed to be or am I thinking of H2O? I thought there was supposed to be more with these guys. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. The guys dressed up as Myers, I mean. Tabitha Macaulay, I don't like this scene. You talking about the scene with all the people dressed as... Yeah, there's something about it that I never liked too. It felt sort of... It almost feels like... I get why it's there. Kids are capitalizing on the... I always like that shot. George P. Wilbur, there's something... Yeah. Sorry, guys. So many things going through my head because, like I said, I haven't watched this in so long. I'm trying to keep up with my own thoughts. The police station. Yeah. I just want to know if this is the scene where Meeker says... What's the scene where he turns to him and he's like, "What the hell are we dealing with here, Doc?" You know, or something like that. Like, I like that. Oh, look at the brutality of that.
How can a man do this, Loomis? Tell me.
Let's turn this up a little bit.
What is he?
There you go. What is he?
The hell are we dealing with?
Evil. Yeah, it's great. It's great. What the hell are we dealing with? I like that. And you're only seeing the aftermath of what's happened. So it's like, it's true. I mean, it's like you're driving on the road and you see a car crash, but you only see the aftermath of it. And you're like, how the fuck did the car get like that? Like, what the hell happened here, right? It's that kind of thing. And it's the serious, and you can see the sheriff suddenly become really serious. And he grabs, Loomis, and he's like, don't fuck with me. Like, what are we dealing with here? Like, now things have changed in his head. Things have suddenly become really serious really quickly. Because of the brutality of what he's just seen. Love it. Yeah, these guys.
Al here lost his boy 10 years back. Well, not this time, Ben. I'll handle this my own way. We're gonna fry his ass. Son of a bitch, you just created a lynch.
Yeah.
You haven't got a police force. That may be the only defense you've got.
There was a cut scenes which showed Michael killing the cop, so I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they cut it because it's unnecessary.
God help us.
Seeing the aftermath is more frightening. It's more like, whoa, what the heck happened here? What are we dealing with here? It's just, yeah, it's ominous. Lets your imagination play out the horror. Exactly, Rich. Exactly. 100%. Yep, no, you're absolutely right.
Ben, I just heard about the station.
He's lying in the back seat.
I'll be there in 5 minutes.
So this is just to show that the police officer is inadvertently taking Michael to the location. So Michael's not stupid. I mean, Michael is smart. He's calculated, but he's quietly smart. He's introverted. This is why you always check your back seats. That's right. Yeah, I put up a meme, I think last Halloween, the screenshot from my fan film where my buddy Bruce is the cop and he's in the front seat and you kind of see my face sort of coming through in the background, and it was something like, always remember to check the back seat. It's true. I always had a like-hate relationship with this sort of, not subplot, but this angle to the night. these hick guys, these, vigilante guys taking matters into their own hands. I always sort of, one moment I could watch it and be like, yeah, I kind of like this. It's kind of funny. And then the next moment I'm like, I don't know if it's necessary. I would have much rather have maybe removed this angle, showed that they were worried, but maybe concentrated more on other things. Because it doesn't really go anywhere. They just sort of, I don't know. But then I could watch it again and be like, oh, I kind of like this. It shows what I do like about it is that it shows that people in Haddonfield are still on edge. It's been 10 years and things have seemingly gone back to normal, but the second something is there, and look at this ass shot. It's the curvature of her ass. The second that there's a threat, it's like, whoa, like they're not messing around. So I guess, in that way that it's, it's all right. Tabitha says, hey guys, I have to go. Friends just arrived. I love you guys. Talk to you later. Halloween forever. Take care, Tabitha. Have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy your time with your friends. Yeah. Rachel wouldn't put out. I mean, that is essentially what's happened here. Rachel would not put out. The sheriff's daughter is going to. So, there you go. What are you going to do? I remember as a kid watching this, getting really excited. And disappointed when they didn't show anything.
Oh, it's my dad.
My dad. It's sort of almost, I just noticed that's almost like a parallel to when Annie says it in the first movie. Like, my dad! Quick, get rid of it!
Catches us like this.
Except this is like,
Skin you alive.
shit.
Starters.
She doesn't even put her bra back on.
Where's that deputy?
Be here in a minute.
Lewis Stevens audio. You're talking about the movie, Lewis? Yeah, no, I can't have the audio up very loud because obviously I don't want the
Dad, what's going on?
Kelly, I want you to close and lock all down.
the movie to be the video to be taken down afterwards. People have had that it's not set in stone.
Brady, you know how to use a gun?
I could probably have the audio up louder and nothing could happen. But then I could do it again in the next video and all of a sudden there's an issue. There's not a level of consistency with YouTube. And that's because their algorithms don't always pick up certain things. But sometimes their algorithms will hit your video and it's like, I just don't want to take the chance. So that's why I have the audio on low. I can hear it. But because the microphone is facing me, you can hear, there's probably certain things you've been able to hear. But I just don't want the channel to get a strike. My channel's not monetized, but I don't want the channel itself to get a strike. So that's why I have it low. If there's something violent like a gunshot or something, or explosions, you'll probably hear it. But look at this blue light. Look how dripping in blue light that is. I'm a fan of the blue light, don't get me wrong, but it can be overused. That was borderline overuse. But it's still nice. It's got a cold feel to it. I gotta say, watching this movie for the first time in many years, I'm liking it. It's not. I don't like it as much as the original, because, or even Halloween 2, and I still feel that way right now watching it, because I feel that Michael Myers is. I'm trying to think of how to articulate it. Things feel we're moving at quite a clip. Now, this movie is actually only about 88 minutes long. It's even shorter than the original. I don't even think it's an hour and a half. It's like 88 minutes or something. So there is a good pace to it. And you could look at it the other way and say there's a really nice pace to it, and therefore things seem to really, and it's nice. But with Michael Myers, there's certain things I was hoping they would milk a bit more and focus on a bit more and linger on a bit more and utilize a bit more, which they didn't. So I feel it was... Do you know what I mean? But it's still, as I'm watching it, I'm still thinking to myself, I like it way better than 5, 6, H2O, and Resurrection. It's always been a decent return. Can you imagine if 5 was... Can you imagine if 5 was at least minimum just as good as 4? If they had followed suit, would have been really interesting. Darren S. says, it's a good thing there's no sound. Brady's hair is too loud. Brady's hair is too loud. I'm telling you, man, he loves his hair. Have you seen interviews with him today? He looks pretty much the same, a lot older, of course, but he looks like I think, didn't he go off to do soap operas or something? Or didn't he have like a few minor things and some soaps? I thought he did. Maybe I'm wrong. He has no hair today? Oh, he shaved his head? Well, then I must have been looking at some other interview. Or maybe it was somebody else I was looking at. He's not weathered well. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. But I thought he went into soap operas. Maybe I'm wrong. David Ferguson says, I love the scene coming up when you see Michael Myers' mask appear in the background. Yes. I wanted to, yes. That's always been one of my favorite moments in this movie, when the cop is in the rocking chair and you see his mask sort of appear, and then the cop goes like this and the mask kind of... I love that. I love it. I love that. That is very, very Halloween 1, very in line with Michael's character, right? There, not there. It was creepy too, because there's something really creepy about that scene, because there's so much darkness off in the corner that it almost seems like you're... Yeah, here, okay, so the cop's going to sit down here with the shotgun. Like, you can't even really see the background, how far. You don't really have any depth perception from what I remember. So it just seems like, where's that coming from? Like, it's like the void of space or something from what I remember. Again, I'll see it again here in a minute, but yeah, good call. I always really liked that too. How did he get in the house? Who knows? You know, I don't think it's always necessary to explain how Michael Myers... I know in Halloween 1, when Laurie goes back into the Doyle house, of course, it's explained by the open window by the phone before she kneels down by the couch and the whole neck thing. But I don't even think you needed to explain that. You know, he is the shape. He's the boogeyman. How does he get in? Well, you know, he gets in. I mean, you know, it's like one of the issues people had with my fan film was the scene with the cop, which I thought was a great scene. It's one of my favorites in our film. When I come up, you know, I emerge from the darkness behind the cop, and some comments were like, "Oh, how did he get in the car? Oh, come on, wasn't enough time." He's the boogeyman. Who cares how he got in the car? He's Michael Myers. Who cares? You know, he got in the car. He got in somehow. You know, how was he there and then not there without Laurie looking away, standing in Mr., you know, Riddle's backyard? How did he just... I don't know. He's the boogeyman. Here it comes. Yeah, you see his mask? And then, see how, but there's so much darkness over there? And it just kind of goes, bloop. Like, it's like, what is over there? Is he in a room? Is he in the kitchen? Is he... Love that. That's a creepy scene. I always really like this, too, being in the basement. I really like the basement and how dark it is, and how it feels very claustrophobic, and they're using the shortwave radio or whatever to try and radio for, I think, the next town over or something like that. But it feels very claustrophobic and sort of dark and intense, and I got to admit, I like how this is playing out in terms of, you know, there's a very claustrophobic, everything's happening in this space now. It's come to this. And the audience knows he's in there, but the characters don't. So, yeah, it's interesting. There's two ways you can always play narratives. You can put your characters in the same position as you can put your audience in the same position as your characters, so you live more vicariously through them. So you don't know what's going on, the characters don't know what's going on, you're on this journey together. And then of course there's the other way where you could have the audience know what's going on, but the characters on screen don't. There's more of an emotional disconnect that way, because you're always one step ahead of the characters, essentially. So you're more of a spectator at that point rather than being one of them in the house. So there's many different ways that you could approach this, but it still works. I mean, you know, cops do it by the book. It's funny. Very creepy. Yes, Darren, it is. Tommy Gibbons says the rooftop scene is my favorite by far. Yeah, the rooftop scene's all right. I just wasn't crazy on George P. Wilbur. I mean, I'm not crazy on George P. Wilbur's portrayal of Michael Myers. And it's nothing against George. I think there are certain moments that are quite nice. But it's a big departure from the movements that we were. I mean, you could say that Dick Warlock was a big departure from what Nick Castle did, but there just seems. I know Dick Warlock was a little more robotic, but it just feels, maybe because Dick Warlock and Nick Castle were similar in stature, similar in size. Now Nick Castle's about 5'10". Dick Warlock, I think, is about 5'9", and he wore some lifts in his shoes. And maybe because they were in and around the same stature and size, Dick Warlock's robotic nature didn't feel as jarring, maybe? I don't know. I got to watch Halloween 2 again. Whereas George P. Wilbur is substantially bigger, and he seems very sort of, I don't know. It's funny. Like, I gotta think about these things. You know, I mean, I got to admit, guys, like, I mean, because the later sequels are not some of my favorites, I don't watch them as much as I watch the original two. I know a lot about them, of course, because I know a lot about the series, but I don't brush up on them watching them, maybe as often as I should. So this is really fun. And I'm liking this more than I maybe did even the last time I saw it. I still have issues, though, like I said, but this is nice. The pace has slowed down here. The pace has slowed down. You know, we're spending all our time in this home. It's dimly lit. You can see that there's a warmish glow because obviously we're inside, but nothing is overly rich in orange, which is nice. But and it's just that glow from the fire and the little lights on the mantle there, but it's nice. It's nice. But you can tell that the pace has slowed down substantially. Once we get to this house, the pace slows down. But there's not a lot of suspense. And I think that's my problem. When I watch this, I mean, that's a cool shot, seeing the dead cop, so that signals to her, oh shit, who's that over there in the chair? This is interesting with the mask, because this is not the mask that you see a few minutes later. This is that... Yeah, this is more in line with what you would want to have seen. God, they fucked up with masks in this movie. Just like they did in H2O. But, I never felt any real suspense. A lot of mood, a lot of dripping with it. This house stuff is got a lot of atmosphere. And I think that's why I like it, because it's atmospheric. But I'm not feeling any real suspense. There's a little bit here, as you can see. She's coming over. What's going on, right? There's a little bit of suspense here. But I think they could have utilized this more. There could have been more in the home. Yeah, I don't know. And she just goes through basically the same steps that she just did, but now she sees her. So it's just like one up, you know, and Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad scene. It's just, I think it feels a little like it's missing something, in my opinion. But mood is not one of those things that it's missing. The mood, the atmosphere, definitely. Now this is cool because Brady comes in, save the day. We see the dead cop. We see, the dead girl. The music is coming now. Now there's a build. Where is he? Right? Where is he? So there is a bit of that now.
What does that mean?
We're trapped in this house.
Yeah. Kieran Pritchard, why does the mask change so much? Well, I believe the mask we saw with the shotgun kill. That was a different mask. That was the other. They had a few on hand, and that was the other Shatner mask, I believe they had. Somebody can correct me in the. This I love the lighting here. Get the fucking shoulder pads out of there. I didn't like the shoulder pads that George P. Wilbur wore. These are created, they want to make him seem menacing in the way he holds his arms kind of like this. I wasn't crazy on that. The walk is okay. The walk is okay. I mean, it could be better, but I mean, it's just... Yeah, hit him with that gun. Yeah, the way he kind of goes like this and drops it, just... I don't know. He's a big dude. Snaps his neck here, yeah. It's a good kill. Yeah, this roof scene is definitely... I always thought they should have lit these stairs on fire. Yeah. They throw the shit down there. Maybe there's like a gasoline container up there or something. And they light the stairs on fire. Not enough for Michael to catch fire, but enough to see him walking up the stairwell that is engulfed in flames. And he's doing this kind of thing. And he's coming through because he's a little worried about it, right? And he comes up to the top. And now the house is on fire. Weren't they going to do that? Weren't they going to have the house on fire or something? I thought they were going to have the roof on fire or the house on fire. And there was logistical reasons why they couldn't do it. Maybe I'm saying that about the stairwell because that's what they were going to do. It seeped into my unconscious and it's coming up. Maybe they were going to do that. Yep, but no money. Was it just the roof or was it the stairwell that they were chucking things down? Yeah, that would have been great. Ran out of budget. Yeah, that would have been fantastic. Only roof, I think. Yeah, if it was me, I would have started it right there. She's chucking things down into the stairwell. Light, again, not enough to have him engulfed in flames. Just certain things are on fire and he's a little, and you can tell that he's just a little apprehensive of it. Not to the point where it breaks his character where he's not Michael Myers. But you can tell that he's just a little, actually, no, the fire started in the basement. Oh, okay. All right. Would have been interesting to see how they did that. It's a good thing you guys are here because you guys are really up on Halloween 4. It's been so long since I've watched this. Brushing my skills back up. Getting my skills back up with part 4. But that would have been great. And have him come up and onto the roof and then you see the smoke start to come out. Again, I understand why they couldn't do it, but it would have been cool. I never liked the way he comes up over there. I never liked that. It seems very... like very robotic in some ways, but a little too sort of like he's a Muppet. It almost felt like he was a Muppet getting onto the roof. Like there was somebody had it, they were, like he was just a Muppet or whatever. It just kind of felt awkward to me. But it's a great scene. It's a great scene in and of itself the idea of having this rooftop chase scene with Michael Myers is like, oh, like on paper, reading that in the script, I would have been like, yes, I'm down for that. Totally down for that. But, you know, it really makes you realize when you establish a character, and it's not that Nick Castle was doing anything ingenious, right? We all know that John said, just walk, you know, just be yourself, right? And Nick might have added a few little things in there, like, you know, sitting up and just being graceful about it, or trying not to be too, certainly he was conscious of being a little methodic. Yeah, falling off the roof. It's a great scene that almost feels like there should be more. Do you guys agree with that? Don't agree with me if you don't agree with me, but it almost feels like this rooftop scene needed more because it was such a good idea. And I think that's why I thought of the fire. I thought of how cool it would have been to have something, maybe it needed to last a bit longer, or Jamie's hanging, which she was, but she's hanging and he's hanging off the roof trying to get her, and then there's flames. It just feels like there needs to be something more. Yes, that's right, Darren. The rooftop was purposely built only a few feet off the ground. Yes, that is correct. That I do remember. Yes, that's right. But it feels like, you don't want to milk it too much, but I always feel like there should be a little bit more. Love this shot. Look at that lighting. Holy jeez. It's dripping. I didn't realize how much atmosphere this movie really is dripping in atmosphere. I said earlier, well, maybe it's not dripping. Nah, it kind of is. There's some seriously atmosphere. There's some, and I like this shit. I'm an authority on atmosphere. I need that atmosphere, but I do recognize that you can also go too far with it. And there are certain shots and moments in this movie where I'm like, don't milk it too much here. Loomis comes out of nowhere, grabs her. That's fine. I mean, you can be like, well, how did Loomis know where she was? He just left. I mean, he's out in the neighborhood again. I don't know. He sees her, runs over to her. Who knows, right? Doesn't really need an explanation. Yeah, the shadows on the ground, and you really, the leaves, it definitely reeks of October. 100%. More than any other Halloween film does. And it's so good. The original going to be longer, more intense with the roof was on fire. Yeah, well, that's what I feel is missing. I almost feel like, whoa, Michael Myers on the rooftop chasing, that's something we haven't seen before. It feels like we need to milk that a bit more. David Ferguson says it would have been interesting to see what they would have done if JLC agreed to come back for this movie. Yeah, it would have been interesting. Oh, wait, sorry. Here's the shot with the blonde Michael Myers. Blonde Michael Myers. How anybody... Listen, I've never made a Hollywood film, okay? But I am an absolute stickler for detail. How anybody on set did not notice that. Can somebody confirm, was this second unit? Did second unit shoot this? Did second unit shoot the elementary school stuff? Because I cannot imagine that Dwight H. Little would not have noticed this. That our Myers mask all of a sudden has blonde hair. But I certainly could see second unit fucking it up. And then once they brought back the dailies, it was like, well, fuck, we don't have enough money. Oh, well. I think it was a tribute to Ben Tramer and H2. Seriously? Or are you being sarcastic? Because if it was, I think you're being sarcastic. Hopefully it wasn't, because you just don't, in my opinion, you don't do that. I mean, there's other ways to give him a tribute. Joke, Dave, okay. I figured it was a joke, Darren. I figured, but, these days you just don't know on text, Just awful, though. How anybody... I'm going to look that up. If that wasn't, how anybody could just screw that up, I don't know. Rachel comes to the rescue. See, this is why it's so important. Rachel comes to the rescue, saves her. And now we go back to these guys. And it's like... Okay, yeah, I guess Who else is gonna... Okay, yeah, no. I stand corrected. Yeah, okay, because obviously this gets them into the truck. Love these shots, these static shots of the elementary school. Where is he? What's going on, right? Where is Myers? I like that. Doesn't last very long, but it's a nice... It's a nice little... Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice little insert shots. Come on, Earl. Let's get these kids in the truck. So that makes sense. They show up. Okay. Yeah. So it's not as jarring as it was, I guess. This is when one of the reshoots, I think, too, was tearing the guy's neck. Right? It was a reshoot that they didn't have time to fix. The elementary school was a reshoot. The director said he didn't think people would notice. Oh.
Okay, everybody, listen up. I've got Rachel Brothers and his sister in the truck.
And had he known the backlash would have had, he would have...
State police are on the way. You got that?
Still, even in a reshoot, I don't understand how you don't notice that. I don't understand. I don't understand. It's so obvious. It's so obvious. If that was me, I probably would have, honest to God, I would have cut the scene close so you only saw his face. So it seems like a big commotion. He comes in, grabs Loomis, and there's like this commotion, and you never really get a chance to see his hair. That's how I would have cut it. Because I just, oh, shit. Yeah.
Okay, there's a highway patrol substation about 4 miles down the
Yeah, that's just brutal.
Now we've got officers on duty. They'll take care of you.
Oh no, I understand they had no money to fix it. I'm just saying that it seems unbelievable to me that no one would notice when they were shooting it. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't ruin the movie, not at all. It just yeah, I just wouldn't. Yeah, it just pisses me off. A lot of people are like, how does Michael get onto the truck? I think what it is, we see Michael... Yeah, I'm not a big fan of seeing him struggling. You know, trying to get onto the roof. He has that sort of Muppet robotic look, and then trying to get back on, trying to get onto the truck. We see him kind of climbing up onto the truck like... Yeah, and it's kind of like, I don't want to see Michael doing that. Michael's there and then not there. You know what I mean? We don't know how. I mean, obviously he gets onto the truck somehow, but to see him, we don't necessarily. Oh yeah, look at this. Look at that. Just tearing his neck. That was great. That was a reshoot, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was a reshoot. But I'm not a big fan of seeing Michael in those ways, and that's okay if you guys are, and if it doesn't bother you, that's fine. That's fine. But coming from Halloween 1 and 2, we never really see, we just see Michael. He's just there. You know, how he gets somewhere, I don't know. How he lifts himself up onto something, we don't know. He obviously does, but we don't know. You know, and I that always bothered me, just seeing him kind of going, hey guys, what's going on? You know, getting up onto the truck. Not a big deal to some people, I understand that, but it always sort of rubbed me the wrong way. Now this shot with him on the roof of the truck, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that because obviously he would be going side to side. That's cool. I'm fine with that. It's a great scene. One thing I will say is that there's many things I never liked that. I never liked his mask coming onto the windshield. Just seemed smut. It just seemed weird to me. But I will say there's a lot of stuff, even though they wrote this script in like, what was it, like 7 to 10 days or something ridiculous. They wrote this pretty quick. I will say that I like that they had a lot of new stuff that they tried. You know, stuff, positions and situations we haven't seen Myers in before. Never liked this. Liked the idea, but never liked his shoulder pads. Look at this. Look at this. That looks fake. It looks like a dummy. He looks like this. Never liked that. I like the idea of running him over because we have never seen that. I mean, we've seen it, but since. But I mean, we've never seen that. Didn't happen in part 1. It didn't happen in part 2. So we hadn't seen that. So this is kind of like, oh fuck. Love that shot of Jamie. Love this shot of Danielle Harris. Love that how she's looking like this over at Michael. Love that shot. Love the close proximity of that shot. Yeah, and her eyes. If you notice, her eyes ever so gently go. Like they squint just a bit, like she's thinking. Brilliant. This 10-year-old kid. That was great. Grabbing Michael's hand, of course. Script was written in 11 days. Yeah. Shoulder pads were in fashion back in the 80s. That's very true. My mother had shoulder pads. How he sits up, yeah, it's okay. Now this is just how anybody would survive this. I do not know. I was never really crazy on how George P. Wilbur decided to react. George P. Wilbur feels... He does have a Frankenstein-ish about him in this movie. There is some nice moments, but I have to admit there is a Frankenstein-esque about his character, which I wasn't really crazy on. But that was an epic, like, to shoot him like that, because again, we've never seen this. Like, we've never seen this. Sorry, guys, my agent is sending me messages. Nothing major, though. Because we had never seen Michael take that kind of shit. Although I guess you could argue that blowing up on a fire is pretty crazy, too.
Where he belongs. These kids aren't like this. They've survived this ordeal.
They're gonna need fucking therapy. Look at Rachel. Rachel's on the couch. Fuck. They're both gonna need therapy. Like, look at Rachel. Look at this. And of course, this is one of the greatest endings in horror history. And it is so unfortunate they did not carry this over. And I don't mean make Jamie the killer, but we should have carried that over into Halloween 5, where maybe, it's a year or two later, Jamie's in some sort of, maybe Jamie's Dr. Loomis's patient, and he's worried about her, I don't know. And things begin to go crazy and in the actual hospital, and people think it's Jamie, but it's not, because Michael's come back, or, something to that effect. I did a video on this months ago. I won't talk about it too long here because the moment is coming up, but they should have carried that over. There it is. This is great. No! Loomis's response is fantastic. You can see the anguish in his face. You can see he's like, fuck, no, and he's gonna shoot her. I think he should have shot and it should have missed her and hit the wall. That's what I think should have happened. That would have been awesome. Just as Meeker is coming in, he's able to get one bullet off, but it hits the wall. That would have been cool. And she just stands there not reacting to it. Doesn't even fucking phase her. And she holds up the knife, and then, boom, we cut to black. Great shit. Yeah, so that is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. So, okay, what are my thoughts? It is still, in my opinion, Halloween 2018 excluded. Okay, we're not talking about Halloween 2018 here, okay? And don't read into this the fact that I said that I'm somehow, no, this is not, I'm just talking about the original series, okay? When we talk about the original series, the original movies before Halloween 2018, I placed this as the third best in the series. My favorite was 1 and 2, followed by 4. And watching it now, I I still feel the same way. There's issues that I have in terms of pacing. There's issues I have in terms of how Michael is utilized. I think he could have been utilized better in terms of the shape and the portrayal of that shape. I wish the movie was shot in anamorphic. I think that would have helped with help with the overall feeling that we're in the same place that we were 10 years before. I think Loomis sort of disappears and then comes back towards the end. It would have been nice maybe it would have been nice maybe if he was on the rooftop as well. I don't know how much he could have done, but let's not forget that the roof was literally only a few feet off the ground when they were actually shooting it. They built a roof for that. It would have been interesting to see him maybe there, but then at the same time, I understand that that is helping develop the relationship between Rachel and Jamie, which is also very important as well. They're bonding. They've been through a ton of shit on their own, so that helps too. But I love the mood. I love the mood and the atmosphere, and it's just seeping in. They definitely got that right. They definitely got it right. So, all in all, I mean, I enjoyed, like, I have issues with the movie, and some of them more than others, but watching this movie for the first time in quite a few years, and I don't mean like 10 years, but, I'd say at least 5 years, in its entirety, it's still, I still feel the same way. It's a decent sequel. It's a decent return. Not as good as the first two, and I understand that you can't rely totally on suspense and atmosphere. You have to show some blood. You got to show some some gore, because it was 1988. You'd already done that in Halloween 2, 1981 anyway. So you kind of have to do it. You have to be able to compete with Freddy and Jason. But it had a bit of the spirit of Halloween there because of the mood and the atmosphere, and so I mean, yeah, I think that's why I put it. When we're talking about the originals. I put it as my third favorite, and I still feel the same way. I still sort of feel, yeah, it's a decent sequel. It's decent. It's all right. But then 5 was where they went off the fucking rails. Totally just destroyed it with 5. And maybe Halloween 5 will be the next Saturday movie night. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I will definitely throw it on the list. Now, next Saturday movie night, which will happen next month, next month's going to be a bit tricky, because from October the 11th to October the 19th, yeah, that's right, the day Halloween 2018 comes out, I will be away in Hollywood. I have some voiceover work I have to do, and of course, I also am attending the 40th anniversary convention of Halloween. So, I'm not quite sure when Saturday movie night will happen in October, but what I'll probably do is throw up a bunch of, for the voting, I'll throw up a bunch of Halloween movies. Okay, so I'll throw up 1 and 2, and I won't throw up 4 because we just watched it, but I'll put up 5 up there, and we'll see which one gets the vote. But what day that's going to be next month, I'm not entirely sure because of everything that's going on. So stay tuned. I will let you guys know. So, yeah. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. I know I wasn't answering a bunch of your questions kind of like how we do on regular AMAs, because this is more commentary. But I think it's awesome that you guys were able to join me live. And for those of you that are watching this after the fact, I hope you enjoyed it as well. And there will be more Saturday movie nights to come. And maybe we'll branch out, and maybe I'll do it twice a month, right? I want to, start doing once a month, because, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but it's definitely something that I think will be a lot of fun. Maybe we'll watch Predator, or we'll watch I don't know, something else like Die Hard or something, right? We don't always have to stick to horror. But yeah, so I appreciate everybody who tuned in from my level number 3 Patreon. You guys are awesome. You guys rock. And for those that tuned in after the fact, like I said, you guys rock as well. You all rock. You all rock! I'm telling you, Michael Myers is here in this town. He's here to kill that little girl and anybody who gets in his way. Can you imagine if he was like that? It's intense. Anyway, guys, my name's Dave McRae. If you want to follow me on Facebook, you can at facebook.com/manythingsdavemcrae. That's where you can follow me. In the meantime and in between time when I'm not posting here, that's where I tend to post. If you want help support the channel each and every month via Patreon, you can and get in on some Patreon goodies. That link is in the description too. But keep in mind, you don't have to. Your support is just being here. Your support is being a subscriber and watching the channel as well. So don't think that, you don't matter if you're not a patron, okay? Just remember that. You all rock! Okay, until next time, I will talk to you guys soon. Let me get ready to go off here. Okay, here we go. I will talk to you guys soon. Cheers.